He absolutely, he lives out in Gallatin, and they all have a farm out there, and so they have a very slower paced life, and so he helps me get unplugged and just...
Do you get reception out there?
I have T-Mobile, so I don't even get reception over here.
Not the dog.
Sorry. I mean, it's fantastic in California, but I still haven't changed that service.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What's up? Bill McCleskey in the building with
my boy.
He said my boy.
Just be smooth. Can't stop to lie. Won't stop to lie. Can't stop to lie. Won't stop to lie. Can't stop to lie. Won't stop to lie. Ain't no G-code. Just be smooth.
All right, y'all. Welcome to TechDontSleep podcast. It's another one. I'm excited because this actually is going to be the last episode for season 1. And I dropped the bomb on you. Don't be so sad, y'all. But we have an incredible guest this time, and we have Jillian Vasquez with Girls in Tech Nashville Chapter, and among other things. So we're going to talk to her about her journey in tech, in technology, and really, what the landscape looks like from her perspective. So we're excited to get her insights. And Jillian, we always like to have practical takeaways, for our audience, because a lot of our audience is they're entrepreneurs, or they're folks who want to get involved in the technology industry. So we're excited to learn from you and your story. And again, we just want to have some takeaways for our guests. So I know we're going to get them once we talk to you.
Yes.
So we like to learn a little bit about our guest first. And the way we do that is by playing a game. And this game, my friend, is called I Got 5 on It.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah. So here's how it works. So I'm going to ask you some real simple questions, and you have 5 seconds to answer each question.
Oh, okay.
So these are super simple questions, but don't think about it. Whatever comes to your mind first, just answer as your mind sees fit.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, so what was your favorite class in college and why?
Ooh, I think I'd have to say we did IPA, and for the audience, I have a speech therapy background, so I went to school for communicative science and disorders.
Okay.
And in that course, you learn about the placement of sounds, and it's just learning the International Phonetic Alphabet. And so that was probably the most mind-blowing course because it just illuminated how to produce sounds. Like there were things like, there's several ways to produce an L and an R. So that was probably my most fascinating course that I took.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in speech or linguistics or accent reduction or anything about language or communication, hit me up. Let's grab coffee. We can talk more about it.
So where'd you go to school?
So I went to New York University, but before that,
Okay.
I went to NYU. But before that, I started community college in high school. So my mother had 5 kids, and each child was not graduating, or they were graduating, but they were taking their time. In California, we went to a community college called Mount Sac, but the locals would call it Mount Slack. And so she's like, all right, I'm on my 4th child now. Let's do something better. So she started me early. And so I was a junior in high school, and she put me in community college. And so that kind of bypassed taking EP courses.
Nice.
But then I went to you could see my LinkedIn profile, 4 or 5 community colleges listed on my LinkedIn profile. But I started off as a transfer student and went into NYU, and it was really my dream school. So it was
cool. That's a great idea, though. I got some ideas for my son already.
Yes.
All right, next, which is some question 2. I feel like
I'm sorry.
that was a long 5 seconds.
Sorry,
all right, so here we go. What is your most used emoji?
Ooh, gosh, I would say right now, since I'm active on Slack, the thunder lightning bolt, or the lightning bolt, yeah.
Okay, New York or California?
Oh gosh, New York for the lifestyle, because I love the European lifestyle walking around, but California, hands down, for the weather. I'm a West Coast, Best Coast kind of gal. So,
Yeah. No, I feel you. I just came from California. Great weather. All right. Are you more productive in the morning or afternoon?
Mornings.
Okay.
Mornings are what I call beast mode. So,
Hey, I love it. Which language do you like the most?
Oh.
Sign or sign language or Spanish?
First off, English is my first native language, of course. Family speaks Spanish, but I love Spanish. And of course, my parents are from they're both from two different countries. But I studied abroad in Spain, so I absolutely love Spanish from Spain. But I still absolutely appreciate my parents' language. So yeah, that's Spanish. It's beautiful.
So is Spanish different from like Latin America to
Europe? Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Spain has like lisps, and like for instance in Nicaragua, the Spanish, they drop a lot of the last syllable or the last consonant of S's, and there's just different accents, and the Guatemalans, they have different like ways of saying, like you guys, they say vos, and it's just they're a little bit more polite. So yeah, there are some nuances across the Spanish language.
All right, healthcare industry or tech industry?
Oh, both. If I could have both, because we just went through a pandemic, and it's so needed. Healthcare is still ways behind. We need more people to help advance the healthcare industry, and so both.
What is your favorite thing about Nashville?
Oh my gosh. The southern feel, like it's so different from California. From California, in LA, you have to know someone, and if you're someone, they're your friend. Here, everyone's just like willing to help. They're super friendly. Even at the bars, I mean, like people are helping each other out. Oh, you need a space? So I really love the southern hospitality feel.
Yeah. What is the strangest food you've ever tried, and would you eat it again?
When I studied abroad, I tasted escargot, and someone purchased that. And never would purchase it, but they did it, and I was like, okay, fine, let me try it. So I think that, and then also octopus, but like a tapas octopus. At the time when I tried it, the texture was just so strange to me. So I think.
Would you try it again?
I did, because I ended up liking tapas and Spanish food. And if you're ever in Charleston, there's a really great tapa restaurant or Spanish restaurant. They have amazing, in Spanish it's called pulpo, and so you could order that.
I gotta get that spot from you. I think I'm going to Charleston.
Yes, I will let you know for sure. Yeah.
All right, next one. What actor would you want to play you in a movie about your life?
Well, maybe Emma Stone. I just like her, but I'm a fan of La La Land, so she did amazing, and she won an Academy Award for Best Actress, so let's bring it.
What's the biggest obstacle that you've overcome in life?
Oh wow, I think
these are not 5-second questions.
Yeah, I know they're not. They're the biggest failure. I mean, I guess it's subjective, and you're gonna bring some tears in me. No, I did pursue speech therapy, and I had my own business in accent reduction. I know we're gonna go down that rabbit hole soon, but I think hearing from your Hispanic parent or your Hispanic mother that she doesn't understand where you're going, and so what she's expecting and how she's helped me is what she would consider a failed. You didn't follow the plan. So in her frame of lens, it's a failed. My child failed, and so I think that. But I've tried to overcome that. And hearing. My mother is so proud of me now, of course. Before, I kind of meandered and steered away from the path. And it's folks like her who don't understand that there's so many opportunities outside of the traditional things. And I'm a big advocate for pivoting, and it's okay if you graduate and don't become an extreme master in that area, and you can definitely pivot and enter the tech industry.
Yeah, I love it. There it is. What app do you use most every day?
Oh my goodness. For work, WebEx. For personal and girls in tech stuff, we're definitely doing a lot of Slack. We are on Google and use Google products. And for personal, and I'm an Instagram girl, so I'm on Instagram all the time.
I love it. So what bucket list item do you want to check off in the next 6 months?
Oh, I want to. I mean, it's all girls in tech stuff for sure. I definitely want to continue to segment and scale our audience reach and start inviting and exposing the entrepreneurial side of things. There's a lot of hackathons that we're planning, and that's coming up the pipeline, so stay tuned. And for 6 months, though, we are partnering up. It's a sneak peek, guys, but we're partnering up with AWS, and we're going to be having a hackathon coming soon locally. And we're still trying to figure out whether or not it's going to be hybrid and what problems we'll solve. And so, sponsors, if you're interested.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you got AWS.
We got AWS. Well, the nice thing about Girls in Tech Inc. is that we have the chairman. She is Sandy Carter, who's the VP of AWS, and so she's actually based out in Seattle. She, we do have a location here. Obviously, you all should know we have Amazon in Nashville now, and so you know it's just a great organization to get plugged into because of those kind of connections. And so we're planning things, and we just announced with Girls in Tech that we're partnering up with AWS to try to cultivate more public sector leaders and try to help women get more into the public side of the government, right? Because tech is advancing, and I mean, I don't know if you're watching C-SPAN, but our leaders are not. Well, you can, and you can see that some of our C-SPAN politicians or our government or politicians are asking, you know, the CTOs and CEOs of Facebook and you know all these large organizations about how does their technology work and how is it conflicting with our own human rights, our own, you know, everything. So
our privacy and all that stuff.
And they're kind of a little bit what I would say illiterate in tech and really their understanding. And so that's why like we need people who know how to use TikTok, who know all these things and are doing the research to be in government so they can help shape policy, because there's a lot that technology is advancing in our politics.
And it's so influential too, you know, to all right, so I got a couple more.
Okay.
What is what's currently your favorite author or book?
Ooh, well, I've been reading a lot, and so I was gifted a book because of I read several books around entrepreneurship, and I think at a period of my life, I made it a goal to read like a book every single day, and so that was probably about 5 years ago. Most of your, you know, people like you and other entrepreneurs will say like read a book, you know, every day, and Mark Zuckerberg read like a book every single day too, and that kind of inspired me. So, but what really maybe opened up and expanded my horizons and thought process was outcomes versus outputs. And it's a smaller company that, or a consultant who wrote the book, but essentially it really talks about like traditional corporate culture. And so a lot of it kind of resonated with me because, you know, about 5 years ago, you know, prior to the pandemic, it's just a lot of the internally in corporations, a lot of the innovation came from top down versus bottom up. And so I think there's a shift, and that book really talks about how to work with the UI UX teams, the creative departments, and your product managers and your engineers, and also with your business owners or their customers, stakeholders, to really come to an agreement where rather than just outputting product, like let's take a step back and let's really think of the outcomes of delivering that product, and really thinking, you know, further along as far as the quality and that impact and the customer's experience as a result.
User experience is key. How do you clear your mind after a stressful day?
I go to my boyfriend's house because he makes me turn off all tech.
Oh yeah, I love that.
All tech. Where like there was as soon as I got plugged into Girls in Tech,
because like, you walk in on Instagram, right?
I work on it. I mean, like sometimes, like I got an email from a colleague of mine, and he's like, "Did you ever go to sleep?" And I'm like, you know, it feels like it. I don't, but he absolutely he lives out in Gallatin, and they all have a farm out there, and so they have a very slower paced life. But he absolutely he lives out in Gallatin, and they all have a farm out there, and so they have a very slower paced life, and so he helps me get unplugged and just.
Do you get reception out there?
I have T-Mobile, so I don't even get reception.
Not the dog.
Sorry. I mean, it's fantastic in California, but you know, I still haven't changed that service.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm so interested in Girls in Tech, like this organization. So, but somebody told me I need to read something about you before we like kind of dive in. So,
Okay.
so I'm gonna get through this. So, Jillian, you correct me if I'm wrong. All right, as I go through this.
Okay.
But you're the managing director and founder of Girls in Tech Nashville.
Yes.
The Nashville Chapter.
The Nashville Chapter.
Okay. And if you could describe yourself and what you do, you would say, what would you say? You'd say, like you're speaking to Siri, an intelligent assistant that offers a faster, easier way to get things done.
Yes.
And someone who uses voice queries to answer questions, make recommendations, and perform actions by delegating requests.
That's absolutely right.
Boom, I love that. I love it. So I'm interested to know really about Girls in Tech. So why Girls in Tech, first of all? Because this is an organization with multiple chapters throughout the U.S.
Yes.
Is it global or just in the U.S.?
It is global. It's
Okay.
international, yes. There's about 60 chapters around the world, and they continue to expand, and they're scaling.
Yeah.
So that answers your first question, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
because the reason I'm asking that question is because there's other organizations like Blacks in Tech,
Yes.
and there's all these silos or niches, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people email me and say, "Why do we need a blacks in a black chamber of commerce or whatever? Why don't we just make the opportunities available and do this and that?" So give me your opinion or perspective of why we need a Girls in Tech organization and then the benefits or impact that it's having.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, with Girls in Tech, Adriana Gascon, she's the actual true founder of the organization and established it in San Francisco at a time when about 7 years ago, I think 2007, so that's not 7 years ago, probably a little bit more. But, tech was very lonely for women and for girls. And, it's so important, even to this day, to have an establishment where women feel comfortable to going to a place to access resources, to get education, and get some exposure to what tech has to offer, and specifically in jobs. And also, we're not trying to force women to get into tech. Of course, we want to close the gender gap and erase that, because like you said, when you do have other establishments that are diverse, like, you bring more to the table. And it's Sandy Carter, she mentioned it on a Girls in Tech conference where McCleskey, I think it was McKesson or McCleskey, provided a survey, and basically what their findings were is that the more diverse a board is, or the more diverse your companies are, the more you can scale your products and the more influence you have throughout different communities. And Girls in Tech, of course, we're inclusive. Just because we have the word girls, we definitely are not hating on guys or men, but we want women to feel comfortable coming in.
So that means men can join the organization.
Men can join.
Yeah.
We have men who sit on the Girls in Tech board. South Africa, shout out to you. India, you guys are in Nepal. They're doing so many amazing things because men they're becoming allies, and they see man, I want my daughter to feel comfortable playing with Legos. I want my daughter to be the CTO of a tech company, or my daughter can be a CTO. She can be my partner, and and giving that kind of access to women. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the fact that you said, so the studies show that if a board, the more diverse a board is, the better the company can scale their products. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you're speaking specifically about a diverse board, but what about, the personnel or staff outside of the board? Is there some diversity impact?
Absolutely.
Because of that same,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you bring someone who's a mother or a father, and they're going to shape ideas. I have a perfect example on my board. And this is not necessarily race right now or culture, but it does have an impact. We're all single women, or we don't have kids, and some of us are married and some of us are not. And when we brought on our business director of relations, she is a mother, and she brought totally different perspective. And she's saying, a lot of the events in Nashville are not children friendly, and I can't go to those events. And so when they were I just spoke to a gal, if you haven't heard of Art Tech, Like, you need to speak to them because they're awesome.
Okay.
But I spoke to that couple, and she said when she was looking to become an engineer and getting into tech, she was also looking for organizations at the time when she had a child and could not go to some events because they just didn't have it. And so offering those kind of perspectives, now we have that frame. We're including, hey, we're going to have child care, or let's make it during a time and have the event during the day, or a time frame when it's more accessible to women, because beyond girls and the young female and even men, right? Our older generation, they're also getting left behind, and as everything becomes tech, or everything is tech, and they're getting left behind. And so you do see older women in their maybe their 40s and up who are coming back to the workforce, and they're wanting to explore tech. And so, a lot of, beyond having a board, but you're right, having employees and having diverse backgrounds shapes the product, shapes decisions, shapes strategy. And so it's super important to make things accessible for people from all over. So
how would you recommend, because you mentioned like engaging a lot of entrepreneurs and reading books around that, how would you advise somebody who's building a company, who's got like me, I got a small team, right? And eventually we plan to grow the team, and how do you diversify? Are you super intentional about, say, hey, I'm looking for a white girl, a white female right now. I'm looking for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that happen? Because I guess it could get kind of, sticky, or not sticky, but I don't know, political, or, uncomfortable even.
Right. I'm not in the, while we do have some spotlight for DEI, I'm going to have my own opinion. And so I just want to make that very clear. And it might even be separate from what Girls in Tech organization is doing. But me as my own entrepreneur, and I have my own business, I'm very intentional about the skills. I'm always looking at the resume first, of course, right? But also beyond that, meeting with a person and having conversations with them. And as when you start up your own business, you're probably wearing multiple hats, and you're probably searching for people, searching for the talent. If you want to diversify, you got to go to those like online communities where you want to start advocating to people come to your team.
So like go to Girls in Tech and these organizations that specialize.
I mean, they're like it's no brainer that we like. In marketing, that there are segments, and where to advertise, and
good point.
And so it's like it's a no-brainer. And what I think is happening amongst corporations is that we're not equipping our HR recruiters, and maybe they have their own way, but sometimes corporate companies outsource, and also our hiring managers, they're so bombarded with their own daily tasks, like they're not equipped to hire and recruit as well, and they just enter a LinkedIn post with a job posting, but maybe they might have 10 followers, or maybe they don't have a lot of visibility. So I think it's super important to have to become familiar with organizations. And you're talking about Black Codes in Tech, or Black Chamber of Commerce. Even if the Black Chamber of Commerce started a website with and any candidates could post their resume or something there, or start establishing partnerships, and that's what Girls in Tech is doing. We're speaking with multiple companies to create a pipeline, because a lot of women are coming to us, and also so many companies have reached out to Girls in Tech to help diversify, and eliminate the gender gap.
Yeah, because it makes sense. I mean, if, like you said, if we know how to reach our target customer, right, we should know how to reach a target candidate, so to speak. I was talking to Karen Williams, right? With Mentech. So she has an agency, recruiting agency that helps companies diversify, their IT staff. And she was telling me about an article or a posting that a company put up. They were looking to fill a position, and it literally said, "We prefer this position to be a white male." And it like blew up, like everybody got, pissed off about that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, they wanted a white male for this position. Right. You may want a Black woman for this position. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, but how you go about doing it has to be, corporately sound, I guess, so to speak.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a tough area, right? I think the United States, we're one of the many countries that has a diverse, we're a melting pot, right? And I'm sure in Nicaragua, they do have differences there too. Caribbean, and then you have I guess just Naked Islands and the inland, and then you have your indigenous. But yeah, you know, it's difficult, but at the same time, you know, going to the communities too is another step, and I think you're going to find people who are going to be applying, and you have a checkbox where it says the race or culture. It's always confusing for me because I'm Hispanic and I still don't know what to put, but my sister says we check off white. So, but nonetheless, you know, I think just really beyond, like, I know their companies are going to be asking DEI questions, but I think it's just super crucial for the candidates too to you know, reach out to companies and like to tell them about what you're interested in and where you want to go, because I think at the end of the day, outside of what we're all learning about DEI, and I think that's great, I think Nashville specifically in the tech industry, they want to help people. They want to see people succeed. And I think if you just share your story, like, and share like where you want to go, what you want to accomplish, like you're going to find people that will help. And I think that, it has to be two parts where companies are making that effort, but I think we need to encourage and champion people more to advocate for themselves too, and submit their applications. I think right now is such an important time because there's so much visibility right now. People are taking a lot of chances on just everyone right now, since they need so much talent in the tech
the
force.
demand is super high. So
yeah,
that's a good point though. I mean, candidates, you got to tell your story. You know, you got to get out there, you got to hustle, you got to engage and be proactive and work it from both ends.
Both ends, yeah.
So how did you get to Nashville? So you went to NYU, right?
Yes.
And then, so after college, what did you do?
Yeah, so after college, so at the time, I was working my butt off. My mother was helping me like slightly, and I was basically living on my own in New York City. So they helped me with tuition, and I said, you know, I have my degree, I got figured out. They already spent a ton of money in tuition. Of course, I got scholarship, but it's a private university. So I did go back home, and I started from scratch, had no savings, nothing. I had tons of volunteer experience and work experience with nonprofits, but just went back to California, tried to figure out how do I make my own money and not rely on my parents. And I did that. I got a substitute teaching license. I started working for the school district, which ended up turning into a STEM school, and that opened up my eyes because all of your non-technical teachers got redistributed to another school, and they brought in new people, and they're shuffling. So I saw that happening, and then I got inspired from another gal who I was working with, because she was hustling, she was making money. I'm like, you know what, like I have skills, let's start my own business. And so I got my speech therapy assistant license, and I became what they call an SLPA. And at the same time too, I was very broke, and I ended up
very broke.
And I say this like I couldn't even get, like I didn't have gas went up, so the little spare change that I had at the time, I went down to San Diego. I could not afford a hotel, so I ended up, and I don't recommend doing this, but in New York City, you hear people couch surfing, and there's couchsurf.com. And normally it's foreigners who sit on someone's couch. Well, I ended up couch surfing in San Diego, and it was very a shock to the person's system that they learned that I was just coming from the LA area.
For how long? How long did you?
It was just a night, but
I got you.
But I went down there, and I ended up getting certified as a Compton PSL coach. And really what that is an accident reduction coach, because I wanted to start my own business as I was trying to get into a master's degree program for speech therapy. And so as a result, I couch surfed. I ended up landing on some guy who also had a startup, and he was, he was in biomedical engineering, and I heard his story. So
you went to couchsurf.com.
I was at couchsurf.com.
Okay, I got you. So I was thinking, is this like an Airbnb thing, or
before Airbnb. So I hate to say that, but anyhow, so I ended up getting my license, and I started my own company, or my own sole proprietorship, I would say. So and that was called Speech LA. And so I went specifically. I was very methodical. I went and started seeking clients to help reduce their foreign accent. And to my surprise, I actually got people like they were reaching out to me, and most of them were coming, and I was targeting LA and Silicon Beach. And Silicon Beach is where like your Snapchat's at, YouTube, Google, and it was exploding. And so I really wanted, like I knew like you can make good money in asset reduction, and you can do corporate training, or you can work with a niche and try to work with them. And so I said the tech industry for sure. And so I worked with a lot of foreigners who are engineers, they're founders of their own startups, CTOs. I worked with a CTO from China. And then even some contractors who work for the U.S. Navy. So it was pretty.
So how long did you do that? How long did you run your own business there?
So I did about 3 years, but at that time I did not have any, other than using my speech lab and Google products, I did not have a digital service way of doing the actual face-to-face. My services were in person. And so in California, there's a lot of traffic. So so I was commuting from Chino Hills all the way to Santa Monica. It took 2 hours just to make a couple bucks. So, which wasn't a couple, because I made good money doing the sole proprietorship. And then I also, because I said, if I'm going to be here, let's do some more. So I tutored. And so I tutored in Beverly Hills, and I went and I tried making as much money as I could. So, but again, it involved me commuting. And so I said, I need to stop doing the in-person, and I need to research and utilize the tech that we have, because I can't be doing this. I'm just dying, and I can't scale if it's just me. Right. And so that's when I had the aha moment, and I said I probably need to get back into tech and pivot and consider it. I was already encouraged and exposed to so many people who worked in the tech industry, and at the time I was dating also an engineer who lived in Silicon Valley, and I got exposure there too, and he had worked for Google at some time, and so I just had a lot of influence. And then when I saw that my sister went into tech, I was like, okay, she seems super happy, and she's got work-life balance, and she went into healthcare tech, and obviously healthcare and healthcare tech together, it's pandemic and recession proof. So I said, I want to get my master's degree. Let's try it out. And my sister happened to post a job position for HCA, and it was in information systems technology. And so I applied. I was in the California area, and she was in Vegas. And so the
position was here.
The position was in California.
Oh, okay.
And then I did a great job. I worked there for doing that position for 2 years, and I was helping physicians, basically doing it wasn't level 1, it was level 2, level 3 troubleshooting. And then I became a subject matter expert in the company's #1 product that they're trying to implement across their enterprise. And so I became a subject matter expert, had a really unique opportunity to do a presentation across the company, and that was basically my segue into getting a interview with the front end strategy team. And basically they are the ones who are kind of devising strategic approach of how we implement innovative tools for our physicians. It's on the
with HCA.
And that's with HCA. So now I'm on the strategy team, and that has a lot of influence and how we shape the tools. I worked one-to-one with the product managers. So I do specifically QA testing right now. We're kind of short on resources, so if anyone is interested, has a healthcare background, if you're a nurse, we are looking for teammates to join our ITG team, and also our clinical side of the house, and if you want to help shape products and make a difference in the healthcare industry, please reach out to me, Jillian Vasquez.
Y'all better reach out to her today on LinkedIn or something.
On LinkedIn, yeah, absolutely.
We'll make sure people have the way that you want them to reach out to you.
Yes,
toward the end of this. I tell you what, we're gonna take a quick break for one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Guys.
What's up, y'all? It's Bill McCleskey again, your local meteorologist. No, I'm just joking. Hey, quick break for one of our sponsors. Thank you so much to Spectrum Business. As you know, as a small and medium business, providing the right services as it relates to internet connectivity, voice over IP service or phone service, and TV service if you're like a sports bar or a hotel or a restaurant or whatever. Or, a lot of businesses should actually get TV service in their break rooms. But anyhow, Spectrum Business, if they are in your footprint, is a great option. And let me tell you why. the main thing that I love about Spectrum Business as it relates to small business services is no contracts. Is that crazy? Shout out to Spectrum Business. Now, if you're getting fiber or some advanced products, there are contracts, but the pricing is amazing. So find out if Spectrum Business is in your footprint and reliable, or not reliable, but available for your business. They are a consistent sponsor for us, and we've helped several businesses throughout the country with Spectrum Business. All right, so visit TechDontSleep.com, or you can just go to mytechpartners.com to get options for Spectrum Business. All right, y'all, back to this episode. Holla.
We're back, and we figured out how you got back to Nashville, or how you got to Nashville.
Yes.
In the first place. So it seems like you came here with HCA, started advancing in your job, working, doing well there, and you just jumped into the tech scene.
Yeah.
Because you don't just become the managing director
No.
of Girls in Tech Nashville
Right.
by accident. So were you super intentional about that? Tell us about like your networking skills and how you kind of got into the landscape of tech here.
Yeah, I think we offer an authentic and warming welcome environment, and so we've been able to, within the past year, when we really started running on the ground, we now have about over 200 members with the Girls in Tech Chapter.
When was it established here in Nashville?
So we officially signed the paperwork, or we submitted it in the 2020 during the pandemic around March. But we didn't officially become a 501c3 until this year in March, so it took about a year. And then we got established, of course, with the state of Tennessee, and now we're just working on open up a bank account so we can get some sponsors.
Yeah, no doubt. Of course.
Yeah, but so yeah.
No, that's awesome. So you got 200 members?
So we have 200 members, and we're growing. So
that's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the pitch? Like, why should anyone join Girls in Tech Nashville?
Yeah, it's a community of women, and we of course welcome men as well. We of course are offering the experiences and resources so that you can enter in tech, and you can also succeed in the tech industry if you so choose to pursue a career there. We offer free membership, so that's wonderful. And all of our courses or workshops or courses or events, we try to make it as affordable as possible. We have a bunch of hackathons, and of course, I think the most beneficial thing is that we do have a global network, and we continue to work with corporations not only in Nashville but also around the world. So great opportunities to get plugged in with Girls in Nashville if you do.
Awesome. Yeah, you ever thought about being like a newscaster? Did that? You're pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like your posture is perfect, and you like look at the camera.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is good. This is very welcoming.
Well, I'm from Los Angeles, so I'm just kidding. No, I studied communications in community college, and I was I did actually do an internship with Entertainment Tonight. And,
oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
In New York?
In Los Angeles.
In LA?
Yeah,
okay.
at Paramount Studios. And that was like when the lights turned on. I was like, I don't want to go into Hollywood communications and network, news media and But thank you, I appreciate that.
No, that's good. That's a gift. Like everybody doesn't have it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So,
cool.
but I'm like, I noticed that because like for you to come here from California and like plant your feet, you got this job, and then you just start networking, and you recognize, hey, there's something missing here, and then you have the initiative to bring it or help establish it here. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So tell me about the team at Girls in Tech. Like, you got your status as a nonprofit.
Yes.
And so what does the team look like? Like, what do you guys, I know you do the hackathons and you got events, virtual or in person. But what does the team look like?
Yeah, so, and then you're referencing just the board right now, or?
Yeah, or if you guys have staff as well.
Yeah. So we are a nonprofit, and we're all volunteers on the board, and we are all in specific industries, and we diversified it in a way that we're really intentional about what strengths are coming onto the board, but also we want to give it a shot so that those who don't have experience, come sit with us. Let's teach you. So we have one of our we started off with 2. My co-managing director, Christina Aguila, thank you for being my co-managing director. She actually heard about Girls in Tech in Guyana, and she is out in DC, so she's been helping Girls in Tech Nashville grow from the DC area. So thank you. And she actually works for a company that helps fosters entrepreneurs in third world countries. And so she has so much experience. Of course, I was like, it's a no-brainer. You need to come and be our co-managing director, and we started it. From our first networking event, we were able to recruit a couple of other board members, and thank you, Samantha Pitta. She is a Nashville School of Software graduate, and she is a pivoter into tech and came from the music industry. And she was spearheading our marketing efforts, and so she's doing a phenomenal job, which is why we have about 200 members now.
Wow, that's crazy.
And she was also, in a year into 2 years into being a software developer, and now she's at Tough and Needle. So, other than that, we brought on Amanda Nahr. She sits on several boards here in Nashville. She works at Forrester, and she's our social impact officer. But outside of that, she's been really our wellness coach for the board, and has helped us produce some wellness events, because not only it's important to pursue a career, but ultimately you don't want to get burned out from it, and it's important to establish balance and just focus on wellness. And then we have Neely Austin. She is our business director of relations. She formerly was working, I believe, for Cigna, and now is, and I forget the company she's working for now, but she has a lot of experience in contracts and negotiations. She was recruited and poached, and they basically said, you're amazing, you're great, you don't need technical skills, but we want you to be our data analytics, our data analyst. And so she's like, okay, because you have great communication. We need someone like you to figure out like how to build boards, and also tell our customers like what they think they need, and like what they should need, like what they should focus on as far as data that they need. So so she pivoted into tech, and so she of course resonates with the story. She's a mother, is offering a lot of perspective, and is hustling out there, building connections so that our members can kind of bypass the application process and get screenings with hiring managers. So we're talking to several companies. I don't know if I should say it, but
don't get in trouble.
I know, don't get in trouble. But we are talking to a lot of communities here, because they are focused on trying to eliminate the gender gap. So
No, that's cool. You got a great team around you.
There's one more. May I?
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Satify. She is. She's amazing. She's an amazing and talented woman. She started her own marketing business, and she actually produced Black Film Festival. And she's very talented, and she's actually producing and helping us do our next event, which is the iHeartRadio My Path into Tech Software Engineering. So, and then to one more person I forgot, Hannah Lovely. She is a creative director. And she of course has helped us get all the photo shoots gathered together. She's providing creative perspective, and also how do we blend art and tech together. And so she's been a crucial part as well, and has a lot of connections. She has her own creative consulting agency, has done graphics for like Shake Shack and some other companies. So really some really experienced well-rounded women. But I assess like, what do I need? I know I'm good at some things, but I know I'm not good at a lot of things. So what are my weaknesses, and where do I need help? And so Christina and myself.
Are you guys looking to fill any other positions?
We are
on the board or in the organization.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So the website is what for the chapter?
For the chapter, it's nashville.girlsintech.org. And if you are interested in more getting plugged in for the global, it's girlsintech.org. And then you can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, of course we're on LinkedIn, and we have a Slack channel, so definitely come in and be part of the Slack channel.
So what is in the next like 3 to 5 years? Where is Jillian going to be? What are you going to be doing?
Well, that's a surprise, you don't talk about what your game
You
plan
don't?
is. You work in quiet, and then you're just like, bam.
And you're surprised, right?
Yeah, you're not surprised, like, whoa. Well,
well, let me ask you this then. 5 years ago, did you think you'd be here?
No, absolutely not. So that's why I'm even hesitant to say, where am I going to be in 5 to 6 years?
Where would you like to be, or what would you like to have accomplished, or what impact would you have like to have had, you know, 5 years from now?
I think, you know, if I stick with HCI, I definitely foresee myself being, and I would love to be in a leadership position because I just have a heart for just growing a team. I think, you know, Girls in Tech really challenged me to grow a team, to do, like, learn operational things. I'm a doer, and so I don't know, but so that could be a possibility. The other possibilities, I return to doing my business and growing Speech LA, maybe even rebranding it, renaming it, so that it's my company. My dad's an entrepreneur, my grandmother's an entrepreneur, and I have it in my blood. So I establish and do lots of projects, and I foresee myself having my own company here in Nashville and growing it. So.
And I sense that, like, you're an entrepreneur, you're a hustler. You like to get out here and get things done.
Yeah.
You're getting after it every day.
Yes,
right?
Every day.
No, I can see that. So what advice would you give a girl in tech, or a girl that's aspiring to be in tech, and they say, hey, I want to pivot, right? I want to get in this industry and thrive. What feedback or insight would you give them?
Yeah, I think, you know, knowing what you're interested in, I think it's definitely important to not neglect your strengths. You know, what the woman is good at, you know, whether it's communication or being analytical, or if they love helping out people, or if they, you know, if they love to cook and they like following each single recipe, maybe QA testing is good for them. But, you know, it's when you enter tech, it's kind of intimidating, and for a woman, they may think it's just engineering, coding, but it's so nuanced. And I would tell any young woman aspiring to enter tech to have coffee dates with, you know, people. Like, just go on LinkedIn. I drink wine at home, and when I'm drunk, I go on LinkedIn. And I LinkedIn everyone, and I tell you, I've gotten, like, I spoke with my VP before, and they were wondering why did like, I got a message, and I'm like, I LinkedIn you because, like, I'm growing this chapter, and I want everyone to know. But also, of course, if you want to know more about the tech industry,
don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Go out and on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a great community to learn from people. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, build one. But if you're in the area and you're in Nashville and you want to learn more about tech, feel free to reach out to me specifically, and I will respond, and we'll grab coffee.
And should they connect with you on LinkedIn?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. They can connect with me in Slack. They can even, and they have my email address is there, and I'm super chatty on Slack. We do have a Let's Grab Coffee channel, and we hope to do more networking events so more women can come out of their shells.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, well, I appreciate you. Great conversation, and I know you're going to do great things, right? And I say that because I can tell you have the initiative, right? Thanks. You're a starter, you're a go-getter, you're a doer, like you said, and you're not shy. You know what I mean? Especially apparently when you're drinking wine. Okay?
I don't drink wine.
So no, that's good. So I see good things happening, and we look forward to partnering with you guys down the road too. I mean. There's a lot of opportunity here. So you guys plug in to Girls in Tech, become a member, support the events. If you're a sponsor, reach out about sponsorship, and use this resource so that it can grow and be fruitful. As I mentioned early on, guys, this is the last episode for season 1, okay? For season 1, 2021. Now, in November and December, we're going to do some crazy episodes. Well, I should say crazy. What should I say? We're going to do some special episodes about the best of, and bring in some pretty cool folks to talk about whatever. I don't know what we're doing. Some holiday events, some holiday episodes. And so I appreciate you guys' support. We just launched this podcast about 3 months ago, I think, right? And so we're excited about the growth and the impact that it's had. And it's really, to be quite frank, it's a marketing play, right? It gets the word out about what we do as a company at MyTech, but it also adds value to our customers and our audience because we get to bring on people like you to tell your story, people who have takeaways, insights, and it gives you exposure too. Yeah. So I think it's a win-win-win situation all around. So appreciate you again. I want to say thank you to our sponsors. For this first season, we kind of split it up, but big sponsor was Comcast Business. We also had Spectrum, we had Big Leaf Network, we had ICS out of Birmingham, we had Your6, we had 8x8, and we had Nice and Contact. I can't believe I remembered all that. I'm a beat. Oh, and Wow Cable. I forgot one, Wow Cable. So appreciate you guys. And listen, you guys can go to TechDontSleep.com if you want to engage us or our sponsors to get a quote for any of those services, especially fiber internet for your business, phone systems, and TV service if you're a hotel or a hospital. So be sure to follow us on YouTube and Apple Podcasts at TechDontSleep, and we appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all next season. Holla.
Just be smooth. Won't stop till I can't stop till I won't stop till I can't stop till I won't stop till I ain't no cheat code. Just be smooth.
Crazy. We know you're going to be such a great guest, so we made you the finale. You're the last episode for this particular season.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so the questions will be off the wall. They'll be like crazy.
Okay, all right.
So we'll just bring it to you and just shoot from the hip, you know.
Okay, sounds good.
Where are you from?
So I'm originally from California, but
What city?
Chino Hill. Well, I grew up in Chino Hills, and I was born in Santa Monica. My parents
Yeah.
are from Central America.
Okay.
So-
What country in Central America?
Guatemala and
Okay.
Nicaragua. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So.
This is like Central America week. We had a guy yesterday we interviewed. He's from Texas, but he went and lived in Central America for a year and a half.
Oh wow! Cool.
He and
yeah.
his wife, yeah.
Yeah.
So they like started in Mexico, went down through Nicaragua, Belize, a couple other countries.
Did they do it during the pandemic?
No, they did it like probably I guess like what 8 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Okay, we are ready.
We ready? We ready. All right, Jillian Vasquez, we got you. All right, are you ready?
I have.
Is this
ready.
mic in front of somebody's face? I feel
Did
like.
you make sure it's on?
Ooh, that's what I did.
What's up?
You put it on normal, didn't you? That should be good.
And should I be like looking at the camera or just nonchalant?
You can
Yeah,
look.
okay, cool.
You can look where you want to look.
Right, just be natural.
Cool. All right. I might
You
be
ready?
like this way, so you just tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most of the time you'll be looking that way.
Okay. All right.
Don't look that way.
Okay. I was just gonna say like.
Don't look that way.
Are you gonna prompt me, ask me questions, or something? So, okay. Yeah.
Don't look that way. No. Either
Excuse
to
me.
Bill or to the camera. Either way.
Oh, man, I think I'm funny, y'all. All right, anyway, are we ready?